All right, what's going on, warriors and monsters out there on YouTube land and all streaming platforms that you hear the No Frillz Podcast at? Just be your boy IFCYipeS, and of course, to the left of me, I think it's the right. No, it's the left. It's the left of me.
From any direction.
But yeah, to the left of me though.
I'm on the far left. I thought about it.
You on the far right?
Yeah. I'm over here.
You're on the far right. All right, so you're over there. But yeah, man, welcome everybody again to the No Frillz Podcast 61. Forgive us guys if we've been on a little bit of a delay, but just know we back on track. Everybody's healthy and everybody's good. So before we continue, Chris Matrix, how you doing, baby?
I'm pretty good, man. Glad to be back, man. It's a new year. I'm a year older.
Yes, it is.
Feeling good.
Yes, you are.
You know what I mean? Just good to be here.
How old are you now? You're 39, correct?
39, yes.
It looks good 30. On you. It looks good on you.
Thank you. I'm still in my 30s.
Yeah, you good, man. Listen, I always say to myself, you ain't old till you crack that 55 mark. I feel like once you're 55, you're in the midway point, then yeah, you can start calling yourself dusty. Then all that pepper and salt in your face, it adds up to the age, so it makes sense.
Gotta be cool.
But yeah, guys, this is a special episode here. We got two fine individuals here that helped us make magic when it comes to the content side of things and really pushing the culture forward. For people that don't know, we just recently released a mini doc called This Ain't a Game, and it's pretty much speaking on some of my upbringings in the arcade culture. We're talking about the arcade culture leading to where it is now today in the world of the FGC and esports. So these two individuals right here is the folks that actually made that vision possible. So I'm gonna start with, introduce yourselves. The man with the plan in the back. Who's that? Introduce yourselves, gentlemen. Start with you, brother.
Yo, what's good, man? This is Mojo, man. I'm out here, my girl, trying to make the cameo. She loved doing it anytime on a Zoom chat. But yeah, I'm just here, man. Artist, visual artist. And yeah, man, I got my brother E up there, man, on some Brady Bunch right there. I'm gonna point to him real quick.
Oh, he above you.
Oh yeah, but yeah, he above me on my thing.
Oh, I got y'all lined up like this. Everybody lined up.
Yeah, for me, it's like this. I mean, it's gonna look different on the YouTube, but it is what it is.
Okay.
But yeah, man. Now, I want to actually. So the reason why I'm asking to really just speak your piece on who you guys are. So obviously people don't think it's just randoms because you guys are a key component in really making this happen. Obviously, we're gonna talk the origin story of how you and me got caught up, Mojo. But Eric, what's going on, man? They call you the Creative Cook. That's your name, right? That's the name that we roll by, the Creative Cook.
Yeah, that's the name, man. You could throw the 305 behind it if you want to, just to razor sharp the focus a little bit. But yeah, I'm a career journalist, content creator down here in Miami. Done pretty much the majority of my career with NBC, which is a major news organization. And I'm now with a network on NBC called NBCLX. So it's kind of like repackaging news for a national news audience that's kind of a little bit younger, more in that Gen Z millennial. And obviously gaming is a big part of that culture, that audience, that age demographic. And it's an area of focus that they wanted to address a little bit more. And I'm a little bit more of an untraditional journalist, so I took it upon myself to go at it in a way full force. As you could see with This Ain't a Game, I could have just probably done a Zoom interview with you, gone down to my local arcade, filmed my son play his PS5, and called that a gaming story. You know what I'm saying? But we had many conversations as a content group within NBC, looking for just innovative ways to get the gaming culture on TV and get it in front of a big audience. And when I mentioned that to Mojo, his head exploded because he's really big into the culture. He's the one that put me on to all of you. He gave me a ton of back education and just backstory on everything, and really prepared us to go up there and deliver, what y'all been able to witness.
Yeah, man. And what shout out to you, Eric, of course, for just getting involved in this. And of course, Mojo. I got to talk about Mojo a little bit because people actually don't actually understand how we met up, which is pretty cool. But just to give you a backstory, I remember Michael B. Jordan was talking about Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and Justin was talking about it, whatever the case is. And I just got like this message on Instagram and it was linked to my man Nicholas, with my man Nicholas, right?
Right.
And when I saw that my man Nicholas knew you, I was like, oh, that's cool. But then what spiced it up was that you actually knew about the FGC culture. Now, what's so important about that is there's a lot of people out there that's always trying to make footage that, just like you said, Eric, like pretty much do a Zoom call, a light call, and then, you got your kid playing the console and there's the footage. You know what I mean? That's usually the people that don't really give a fuck about what's going on and what's really down to the nitty gritty in terms of what made this possible in terms of growing the FGC. So what people don't know about Mojo is, well, let me hit you with the old name, Plastic Hawks. This dude used to be in my channels back in the day on my stream. This is when I was starting, like back in like 2013 and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. And that actually gave me more of a leeway to actually talk to you and engage in whatever it is that we was connecting to get with. Only because you actually know what was going on and what went down. And then you were Marvel head as well. So like that just made me more comfortable to know that I could talk to you about these things without you being fraudulent about it. So, big ups to you for getting that popping. So obviously Mojo, so invested in the fighting game culture, gave me this idea of like, hey man, do you want to actually put this on wax, if you will, and really explain it to the people that don't really understand how this came about? Because obviously you just see the glitz and glamour, you see all these teams and like other games and stuff like that, like like first person shooters, sports games, and et cetera, that's really out there in the big market. But people don't really know that on the other side of things, we got this culture called the FGC that really was bred from the ground up. You know what I mean? I'm not, and this ain't necessarily taking nothing away from like first person shooter scenes and stuff like that. Everything started from somewhere, you know what I mean? Somewhere gritty. Like first person shooters, I remember it was on the Quake side of things and other games from guys like Fatality and many other legends, you know what I mean? But the difference between the arcade culture, I feel like, and the FGC as a whole, the story, it has too much depth from so many angles, and we got so much diversity on this side. And so much characters. We got so many characters, Chris. I mean, you can attest to that. You know what I mean? That pretty much was the forefront and just the whole overall lifeblood of the fighting game community. You know what I'm saying? So it was pretty cool to, get hooked up with you, Mojo. And then obviously you connecting us with Eric. And then Eric is so chill and he's so down with this shit. And y'all both like hip hop. So, it just linked in terms of just us getting together and being comfortable, you know what I mean, to make this happen. So Mojo, shed some light on, just the general idea of just bringing this to life.
The funny thing is that like you said, man, like I've been in the chat since Plastic House, you know what I'm saying? So I'll give y'all a background on where Plastic House came from. That's basically Jadakiss. So Jadakiss said he was on an interview and he had cut his finger on accident with a butter knife or a plastic knife. And he was like, oh man, they got Plastic Hawks now. And so ever since then, I was like, damn, that name hard. So I was like, I'm jacking that. So so I had that name for a really long time, and that was like my gamer tag that I was using for a while. But I mean, dude, I remember being in like Yipes's, like stream ever since he didn't have a mic, or not a mic, a camera, dog. Like he was just going in, dog, and so, but for me, man, like the fighting game community to me meant a lot to me because number one, that's how I connected with my son, So my son, as he was coming up, like one of the things that he liked was video games. And so, when he was a baby and stuff, I would just put a controller in his hand that wasn't connected, you know what I mean? To like, just let him be like, he's sitting there playing. But then as he grew up, he started learning how to throw fireballs and things like that. And so now he at a point where he's 16, where he's like wanting to compete. And now he's like streaming and stuff. And so the thing that really kind of cultivated for me was like that community aspect. And so I remember just like seeing the big 2 tournaments and like my Wednesdays was booked, dog. Like I'm watching the East Coast play on their tournaments, and when that's over, I'm looking straight at the West Coast Wednesday night fights, And that kind of like ruled a lot of my time while I was in college and doing art and things like that. And so leading up into the, meeting you Yipes and stuff and Chris, like I've always been like a huge supporter of you guys, especially as commentators and things like that. Like y'all always kept it live, you know what I mean? Instead of like, hey guys, we got 2 fighters here. Like you guys were like made it fun to kind of like just sit there and watch. Like y'all, you know what I mean? Y'all had your own flavor. And that was something I was like, I just kept thinking like, I want to manifest this into something else where like, if I got a chance to work with these guys, I want to, number one, let them tell their story in the manner in which it needs to be told. And then also like just give them guys like more resources to do what they want to do with their dope ass talent,
Okay. Well, that's what's up though. But again, for those that don't know, we do have a mini doc out there. It is called This Ain't a Game. And again, just sounding like a broken record. We are here with the people that got it involved. What made that more special for me is I never really seen high quality like documentaries and like let me take that back. I never seen high quality production like that. Like obviously, I seen the end footage. But while I was there in the mix of all that, right? I see you with this big ass camera. This shit look like, I don't know what is that. It's a Canon. It's like $50,000. I don't know.
Proton Canon.
That shit is crazy.
That shit did look like a proton.
That shit is
cannon,
crazy.
bro.
It's to the point where I didn't even want to be around E or wherever he placed. I'm like, man, this shit look fragile as hell. I'm not covering that. You know what I mean? But all in all, obviously I see you record it, then I see how you put it together, and I'm like, man, the quality is that serious. But you actually put a lot of love behind the production side of this. You know what I'm saying? And it's so cool because a lot of people came up to me when I was at Frosty Frostings, in Chicago. It was like, hey, man, that document is fire. And I'm talking about by the hundreds. A lot of people came up to me talking to me about it. You know what I'm saying? So it really was impactful for them only because a lot of people there said, hey, man, this actually rejuvenated my love for the FGC because it just reminded me where it came from. And now I want to stay in it even more. You know what I mean? So like, it was pretty cool seeing that reaction from a lot of people. Because this whole time I wasn't really thinking about what people would think. It's just more so how cool of a product we could pull out there, you know what I mean, for the people to enjoy. So I never really thought about opinions. I feel like we hit it on the money in terms of people loving it regardless, And then what made it even cooler is my homies was on it, you know what I'm saying? Like Kramer, obviously Matrix here, Sanford Kelly, we had Henry Sen in there, you know what I'm saying? It was a beautiful thing. So just obviously not really being part of the FGC, seeing and hearing these stories in person, how it made you feel as you was making this footage and you was cutting everything up and just basking in it?
So I guess it kind of starts, it really starts from the beginning, right? And a lot of what I got came from Mojo. I saw how knowledgeable he was about it. And he was saying that there's a lot of characters in this space that are not being really highlighted, are not really being showcased. Obviously, esports and stuff like that is on a big stage now, and there's a lot of people in the space. So original names and original innovators get kind of drowned out with all that noise and all that publicity. And as a journalist, I'm always looking. Me as a journalist, right? I don't want to speak for any other journalist. I like to look for cultures, movements, things of that nature that have characters with multi-layers and maybe characters that got bypassed or are not as showcased as much. And I'm a big fan of New York City and New York culture and hip hop and video games too. I just don't do it kind of at a professional level, in that sense. But, I'm an 80s kid. I'm older than everybody in this chat, bro. I got a Super Nintendo when that first dropped out, when it ever dropped out from the stores. And, you make your hands bleed when you first got that console. And I grew up in arcades in my neighborhood that were like baseball card shops that also acted as Mortal Kombat 2 and Mortal Kombat 1 and Street Fighter kind of havens and stuff. So I was familiar with it. And, when it came time working with you guys, it was just a real blessing to come in that night. I'll never forget. We flew in that evening and we met at like your local watering hole with some of your crew. And, you guys were just very open to us being there. And as a journalist, it's my job too to respect that space too. I'm in your space. I'm coming into your space. I'm not just coming into your space. I'm coming into your space with a camera, bro, which is different. And I just remember Mojo kind of emphasizing to us that between the two of us, like, we got to get this right. You know what I'm saying? We got to get this right. We got to do this the right way. And that's the way I like to do stuff. And so from a creative standpoint, I wanted to throw the kitchen sink at it. You know what I'm saying? From whatever I'm capable of doing. And I saw this project as not only a way to showcase you guys and tell your stories, but how can I elevate that? Right? Your stories and your journey and your journey's still being written, right? Are really cool. But me as the storyteller, how can I level that up? How can I elevate that for the audience? Not only an audience that's familiar with you guys and the culture, but an audience that might not be. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, hanging out with you guys and setting it up, I was like, yo, this project's got to be money. And like, as you said, you saw me, in the city running around filming every night. We was there like 4 or 5 nights. We were filming all day. I was a one-man band, basically, filming everything. There's no like 5 crew members behind me and things of that nature. That didn't exist. And, the second part to that grind is behind there in the edit studio where I edit. That's actually where the majority of the work got done. Is the non-sexy part, the non-traveling part, sitting in the edit bay and listening to all your guys' interviews from scratch and stitching all that together. And then putting the sauce on it, putting your guys' sauce, including the BTM music crew. I thought that was really important to include. A unique opportunity to talk to somebody in a group of people who produce beats and tell their story. So I was like, yo, why don't we have you guys track some of your own story? And so that also got integrated too. And I just wanted to be authentic and fresh as possible, because I think that's what the story deserves. And that's what I like to do as an artist/journalist. I probably consider myself an artist who does journalism, not a journalist who wants to be artistic.
So what I want to say is, on this show, like we keep it a buck, we keep it funky, we keep it real. And I'm not going to give you any compliments just because you're on the show and just because we cool with you. And I mean, if there was anything wrong or anything like that, I'm going to let you know right here on Blast. That's what we do here. I'm going to keep it official. The thing that I like the most, because I've showed several people that have nothing to do with my community gaming. I got a lot of different people, a lot of different friends in different genres of life. And the cool thing about the work that you put in, you made this appealing to people that know nothing about this gaming community. I got friends that are still looking at it as like, oh, that's just some people that play video games. And I mean, they don't understand like how deep the community is. You know what I mean? Like the whole depths of it. You know what I mean? The way this was structured and the way you captured everything, it made them seem like they were really understanding what was going on. And you managed to do what I've been trying to do to them, explaining to them verbally without actually bringing them down. Like, nah, I'm not just like playing games. You know what I mean? You were actually able to show like what that life was, because we got about probably like 21 years right now, right, Yipes, with this community. You know what I mean? Since like 03 and up, about 21 years with this community. So you managed to package that in a way where they can actually get those vibes of how we actually came up all the way to this point. And that's a skill. And like you said, you're an artist that does journalism. Well, that journalism that you're doing is art. It is a form of art. And I give you your props for that. And I appreciate the fact that you were able to shed that type of light on what we do in such a way where outside people can understand it. Because I'm sure we can all attest, you know what I mean? It gets a little frustrating when you do something, you have a good understanding of something that you do, no matter what it is in life. And then outside people don't quite grasp it. They're not looking down on it necessarily, but they're not grasping it the same way you are. So certain things that you might look to with a certain sense of urgency are not going to be, reciprocated the same way or received the same way from another group of people. So you were able to display that, and you made explaining all that much easier, to the point where they start asking questions like, oh, so, you know what I mean? So back in the day, like, this is how y'all came up. It's almost like it's a deep connection with hip hop. I'm like, yeah, like, it's not just games. Like, everything is all in one with the hip hop, the games, everything, you know what I mean? So I appreciate what you did there, and I definitely want to give you your props on that.
Thank you. Appreciate it, y'all. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm glad to hear. That's the first time I've been hearing kind of the response from the street and the community, and the people that you guys rub shoulders with and you cross paths with, because I'm in the business of journalism and news, so it's like I gotta feed the content beast. I'm on to kind of like the next mission, and so I don't have time to really find out so much about the feedback and stuff. So that's really good. That's what I'm going for. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to put people on, and then the people who are involved in the projects try to elevate. You know what I'm saying? If you can elevate, I know there's not a lot of that goes along in journalism, but that's kind of when I have those opportunities. That's what I choose to do with the opportunities that I get.
Tell you, right? Mojo definitely talked you up, and you lived up to the hype. Because
he did.
He was like, "Yo, Chris, listen, let me tell you, my guy." He said, "Yo, he did some other joint, and he might be going for a few weeks, but when he come hit you, he's like, yo, I got that thing. It's crazy." And he said exactly that, and then boom, y'all come through with the product, and I'm like, okay.
Touching the material, like, oh shit.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay. I'm in there. You start getting locked. I'm like, oh. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
No, listen, that's how it felt. Look, when they came, so this is crazy, right? Just to give you a backstory and all this. This was supposed to have been done a while back, but we actually had to sit back and relax because COVID was so heavy. You know what I mean? Nobody was really taking the vaccines and nothing like that. But around the time that we did it was, what was that? That was
May.
That was May.
Last
it was
year.
May, right? It was May last year. Yeah. It was summertime. No, it was June. Was it May or was it June?
Nah, it was May because I know it was the very end of the month.
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
that's right. Yeah, dude, I was in St. Louis in May. Yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah. You
know
came
the weather
from St.
was
Louis.
good.
It was fast for me. Good. I went to St. Louis. Good.
No, but yeah. So like, obviously, we got it all situated. We was more comfortable. Like, he got the vaccine. You know what I'm saying? Mojo got the vaccine. Just everybody just got together and it was like, all right, we more comfortable to do this. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? So that's when they came over and we made it happen. What was so sick was like, obviously day one, like let's say -1, right? They pull up to my bar. I was like, yo, man, I'm in a bar. This is in the third in the hood, whatever. And they literally came to the trenches. Now it's crazy, right? We go up the block and it was a little gentrified. Then we go right down my block and then that's the hood. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. Like literally, we was with the homies and stuff like that. The DLs, you know what I mean? You know what was going on there, you know what I mean?
Sir.
Like literally, all that was missing was the bikes or some shit like that, right? Like, but it was really like in the essence of where I was from and like where we're from as a whole, as folks from the hood. We all product of our environments, you know what I mean? So just being there, just to soak all of that up. And then the next day, just get ready to work is pretty cool. You know what I mean? And you was rolling around with an expensive camera. I'm like, man,
bro.
You safe out here. Don't worry. Like everything is good. You know what I mean? But just the fact that we all got together in a hard situation like COVID and make this happen is a beautiful thing, man. Because obviously a lot of people are stuck at home and they just pretty much watching a lot more content than what they did back then. Like obviously content is key nowadays with a lot of shit. You know what I mean? But this just gave more people an opportunity to watch all of this magic happen, you know what I mean? So that shit was pretty dope. It was pretty dope.
What's crazy is that when Chris, like going back to kind of what Chris was saying was like, yo, when E come back, he gonna drop some of that white on that table, and you're gonna be like, all right, man, I need more of that. But the thing was that when like this like day -10 or something like that, when I'm rapping with Yipes, I was like trying to show him what E was capable of, like with all the stuff he's done for my career. So E has like, traversed my career, dude, based off of like capturing every single mural I've done, capturing all the story behind the art, so that like when people get this, like I'm able to flip these projects just straight up off of the video, And so I was like, yo, Yipes, if we do this, man, E is the person. Like that's the only person I trust to come in there to tell this story on a high level. And I know Yipes is probably like, man, it's another dude trying to talk about another documentary and doing something. Like, yo, trust me when I tell you, dog, like we in good hands, bro. So like it to me, dude, like we definitely felt a responsibility to take care of the community. So when we went down there, we were like, yo, like, even when I was telling Yipes and stuff, I was like, man, whatever y'all want to say, we want to give y'all that space to say it. You know what I mean? And however you want to say that. And also, like, I just wasn't taking no for an answer, dog. Like COVID couldn't stop. Like that. Like as an entrepreneur and as like a businessman and artist and stuff like that. Like I can't let like shit tell me no. Because if it says no, then like I can't like take care of my family. You know what I'm saying? I can't keep the roof over my head. You know what I mean? And so I was like, yo, I'm gonna be on Yipes. I'm gonna be emailing this dude. I'm gonna text him. I'm gonna hit up everybody and stuff like that, and kind of see what's up and see how to move forward. You know what I mean? And because of that tenacity, like I got that from playing sports and things like that. That tenacity, like it always works. Like it always works at the end.
Well, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. Cause listen, you was definitely on my ass because look, I'm the type of guy, no bullshit.
How was it that?
I be having the phone down, bro. I'm that type of guy. Whatever it is that's going on, like right in front of me, I put like 100% focus, and then once I'm done with that, then I look at the phone, I'm like, oh shit, people hit me up or such and such. That's just how I work. You know what I mean? But yeah, the consistency showed in terms of you doing this definitely proved to me that you was down about the cause. Again, man, the fact that you was just familiar with everything made it that comfortable. You have no idea how many situations I've been with a lot of people that's trying to document shit that I do that literally have no freaking clue. Like no freaking clue. To the point where they just record shit, they just got some footage like, hey, can you sign this off? And this, but not instead of like actually doing their homework and really seeing for what it is. That's the fighting game community. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Appreciate you guys being diligent and really getting this off the floor, you know? Absolutely.
Yeah, for real. It was like the more Mojo told me, the more I wanted to know, right? The more curious I became. And your guys' story of, you know, hanging out in America's arcades and sticking with that culture all the way through and seeing it to where you've turned that into a professional career and a life. It's just this lifestyle, really. You know, that's where all great stories come from, man. Because great stories come from cultures nobody saw coming, and before you know it, it's impacting people beyond the culture that was originally built. And so, yeah, for me, I just found it to be fascinating. I was curious about it. There's stuff I didn't know about it. And so a lot of times as a journalist, that's a good place to be in. To Chris's point, you know, I'm able to tell the story with the non-fanatic in mind, right? I can introduce this to an audience that is not so deeply rooted in it, you know, for lack of a better term. But also, too, I knew it had to be authentic for the people that are. So it's a fine line between being able to service kind of those two audiences. And so, yeah, man, when I got back into the edit bay with all the content, and to be honest, bro, this documentary is cut down for TV time. This documentary, I tried to pitch it for a full hour because I had a full hour of just butter and fire. But, you know, you're working with, you know, corporation and, you know, mass media constraints. So, but a lot of times too, if you force to condense something, all that's there is going to be the fine wine. There'll be no fat on the meat, you know? So, yeah, it's also a testament to you guys too, for just, it's not easy letting a stranger in your world with a camera for 5 days. And you have no idea what I'm going to do when I flex with the camera.
The day one, you was good, man. I was like, what that guy was talking about? I was like, oh, this is good. He good on my book, man. So, yeah, nah, for sure. Appreciate it. And it's crazy, you know, watching the footage myself, I'm really looking back and I'm like, Chris, I mean, I'm pretty sure you think the same when I say this. I'm pretty sure you didn't expect this shit at all, man. You know what I'm saying? In terms of where it's at today. Because obviously we grew up in the arcade culture and that's all we knew. You know what I mean? Obviously, we lived our daily lives. You know, at the time when I started taking this series, I was a porter in the New York Stock Exchange. You know what I mean? Freaking stripping and waxing floors, and then the only thing that I had as an escape was to play fighting games. In this case, it was Marvel 2. Even though I played a lot of fighting games, Marvel 2 was the it for me. You know, so like just seeing everything to where it's at now is just kind of mind-boggling. So yeah, it's pretty cool to preserve history and really talk our shit on how this came about. You know, because a lot of this is misconstrued and mixed in with just, you know, it's big now because, you know, there's cash now and, you know, there's a lot more outlets to just show people what this is about and stuff like that, which that may be true, but that's not where it started it all. You know what I'm saying? So this is very important for the culture, for people to see this. And mind you, that was just a team shit. You just said that shit was for hours. You cut it down to like what? Was it 18 minutes? I think it was.
It was like 24?
25?
Yeah, I cut it down to like 25. I had to get down to, I think, 25 with commercials and stuff, to put some commercials in. But, you know, I definitely had enough to probably run a 45-minute piece. You know, just more sound bites, more cool stories. Or, you know, we could have shelved it and we could have gone to LA and done a couple 2-3 days out on the West Coast and dropped that in there as well too, and made it a full 90, I believe. But you know, baby steps sometimes. You know, Mojo and I also wanted to make sure like we had to nail this project, because we were thinking that maybe we could do some more of these, and how great and how cool would it be, you know, to introduce multiple chapters of this journey throughout this culture. And if you don't nail the first one right, you might not get a second chance. So let's make this as fire as possible, and hopefully get a chance to do another one, you know?
Yeah, because look, honestly speaking, there is a lot of culture. So like in the video, except in the documentary itself, you know, I really put emphasis on like East and West Coast, but I only said that because that's what I grew up to coming into CF. It was just West Coast and East Coast, right? And obviously when I say CF, I mean Chinatown Fair. So you know, obviously we getting bigger, and there's more platforms, you know what I'm saying, to get involved with the rest of the community. You find out about, you know, the Midwest. You find out about the North. You find out about the South. You find out about folks that's playing in Canada. You find out about
overseas,
just in general. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, holy shit, I didn't think this would be this huge. You know what I mean? Like, just off of just an example, like shout out to my man Dominion, which is Kramer's twin brother. We ain't really know too much of the EU side at all until he went out there for like, what was it, Chris? For like 2 months? He was out there for like 2 months, 3 months when Super Street Fighter 4 came out. And, you know, he was just our intel letting us know that there's some serious competition out in Paris. You know what I mean? So, like, that was just so eye-opening. Like, wow, the invasion is coming. Like, there's going to be people, like, pulling up and really showcasing their shit, you know? Because obviously it's all really been, you know, America, Japan, America, Korea, you know what I'm saying? America, Mexico, when it came to like KOF. But when they came to KOF, that beef was between like Mexico and China and Mexico and Korea. Like, we wasn't really like, we was nice, but, you know, from my knowledge, but I didn't really see no like real killers on that side besides like Mexico and, you know, and China. And it was crazy is in Chinatown Fair, you would go look on the other side where it was, you know, we had Marvel, then we had CVS2, then we had KOF on the side. I think it was, what was next to it? Puzzle Fighter as well, right? Chris, so like, but all you saw that was
CBS
really
was all the way to the right. Then you had the Rumble Fish base. Then you had the Marvel 2. Then to the left, the small cabinet. Then the other. Oh yeah, KOF was over there by CBS 2.
Yeah.
Like behind.
Yeah, but when you look over, right? Like obviously you put the coin up, and then you know you're just waiting, so you just lollygagging, looking around. You look to that KOF machine, you see nothing but the Chinese folk and the Mexican folk really going at it. Like that shit is crazy, you know. So like, it's just interesting to see, you know, as we move forward, that we just started seeing more communities, you know what I mean, really showcase their talent, their community. So it's like, it's beautiful. It really is.
What's crazy, bro, is like how like the communities are so different. So like for me, the first game I ever played competitively, like actually going to a tournament, traveling, putting up my own bread to play, which is completely different from just playing in your draws at the crib. Like for real, it's different. Like was Halo 2. So Halo 2 was a game that like I competed in for years. I was only playing the game for like from like 2004 all the way up until when Street Fighter 4 released. And so for me, I was like, okay, I'm tired of playing shooters. Like I want to play something else. Like I kind of grew up with fighting games, Marvel 2, CVS 2. I wasn't good at by any means by that time. I told Chris my first team was trash. It was Guile, Amigo, Captain Commando. Trash.
That shit is trash.
I thought I was doing so with them DACs. I'm like, I finally figured out how to do 3 supers in a row. I'm like, okay, let me try my hand on this. So when the game got re-released in 2008, I think 2008, 2009, when they re-released Marvel 2 and they did like the HD remix for Street Fighter 2. I was playing that, and I'm trying to play this whack ass team online on Xbox 360, and I started seeing the army of Magnetos and Sentinels, and and I'm just seeing the damn screen go up and down. Like, I can't see my damn character. Like, what? Like, this dude cheating or glitching or something. Like, what's going on this game, dog? So at, like, when I saw that, and then I was like, all right, man, I'm getting washed in Marvel 2. I was like, man, I need to like Google something. I was like, I need to Google something. That's when Google like was out and YouTube was kind of turning around, and so I just saw IFCYipeS Chris Schmidt, and it was like some Marvel. It was MSP like matches and stuff like that. I think it was Seasons Beatings. I think it was. Yeah. So when I saw that, I was like, these dudes is like doing shit that, like, how are you doing that? You know what I'm saying? So I find out about Shoryuken, try jumping, box jumping, all this stuff. And that's when I realized, I was like, man, like, this is way more fun, because like now I don't have to depend on a team to win. It's all about me. Like, it's no excuses. If I get cooked, I get cooked. It's my fault. It ain't the game fault. It ain't nothing else. This is my knowledge. And when Marvel 3 came out, that's when I was like, all right, I'm a for real like play this game. Even though I hated X Factor, I think it's trash. But I was like, I think X Factor really like messes the game up. Me and my son had this debate all the time. But when I played that game, that's when I started like trying to play other people. And I got washed. I got washed by a professional.
What a game for you to be playing other people in too,
bro. And so and the reason why I'm bringing all of this up is because that's why I was like, I gotta talk about this community, because like each person is an individual. They pick their own characters, their own team, and now you got these different personalities like going like clashing. You know what I mean? And so like the first time I played, and I didn't realize there was a St. Louis fighting game community. Like, shout out to Tasty Steve and stuff. And that's where I'm from, and that's kind of like where I started playing Marvel 3 and stuff. But at the community college, bro, I went to the cafeteria, and so like it was known kills like Jody. I think Jody, he plays Tekken. But there's a couple of people that normally play in the community. They were at the community college in the cafeteria. So it was this chick cooking everybody in Marvel 3, dude. Like, it was bad. It was in vanilla too. And her team was Dormammu, Doom, Sentinel. It was some cheap stuff. And my team at that time was Wolverine, Doom, Taskmaster, another trash team. So I'm just trying to scratch people with Wolverine. You know what I mean? I just want to scratch. So, dude, this team, bro, dude, I'm playing this girl, dude, and she just watching me, bro. She just got Dormammu's ball on the screen the whole game, dog. She just doing the X Factor, doing it again. She throwing drones. I'm Wolverine just shivering in the damn air, dog. So my life just getting shaved, dog. And I remember she just cooked me, and I was like trying to keep playing. She like, no, she like put her hand up, shook my hand. And I found out that the person that was watching me was guilty. And I was like, damn. And that's when I realized at that point, I was like, I gotta practice if I'm going to real like play against people. And that's when I like really, really started like practicing, playing more, doing my own research, getting in the lab and stuff like that. All the stuff that Chris talked about on the podcast. Cause like, you're not finna just jump in a fighting game and think that shit is sweet. That like you finna like cook your homies, or you gonna cook the hardest difficulty and think you finna go play against a person that actually played this, another human that knows a lot about this game, and think that shit finna be nice? Nah, dog. You in for a rude awakening.
Yeah. Yo, man, let me tell you something. My first experience at Chinatown Fair, when I went there, I got washed. Then now mind you, in the back of my mind, I'm like, damn, am I really gonna have to keep breaking bills so they can fuck me up? Like, that shit. So now that's the mentality you take, right? It's like, damn, I'm gonna have to get nicer so I could spend less. Like, that's how I was looking at it. Cause bro, my money was melting, boy. I'm like, god damn, I would lose. Like, I'm already losing. Like, they already got like my last character in the loop in Marvel, so I'm already putting a quarter up and I'm walking away. Like, I'm like, oh, these guys is not playing. You know what I mean?
Capcom.
Yeah. That's crazy. So I would cheese people out too, like in terms of the turn. So like there was a small machine, so that's where all the scrubs went and shit. So freaking I would put money on the big machine while I go play on the small machine. Like, but that's how I know my money was dropping quick. So I was like, damn, man. So, but yeah, that's a good point to pull out, Mojo, because this is honestly not something you could just step up to and just whoop people's asses. Although it's a little more linear now in terms of what you can learn, but the art about it is like you really got to put in the lab time to really understand about frame data and how you approach, certain characters, because every character is freaking different. You know what I mean? No matter who you fight. Some are really good, some are really bad. But overall, it's just pretty much like when you're learning how to play a fighting game, it's like being in the locker room as a coach, explaining to your team what type of plays you want to put out there in order to be efficient, in order to try to get the win. So like, that's basically the same shit, but the only difference is obviously it's one-on-one.
Yeah.
And you want to know what something crazy is too that I always meant to talk about. So when I first went to CF, because that's the where the mecca of fighting games were in New York City, right? If you want to play the best in the world, you go into CF, right? So before I got there, like video games had this stigma, especially fighting games. They had this stigma of the best players were Chinese. You know what I mean? Like it was always China. Like that's the one race for Asia.
Those Chinos, that's Hispanic. So it's for Chino. Yeah. Wow.
So they say, you're gonna go to Chinatown. Like there's probably gonna be some Chinese dude that's gonna fuck you up. Boom. I get to Chinatown though, and it's not Chinese people playing Marvel. It's a mix of myriad. I have freaking Guyanese, Trinidadians, straight blacks, freaking Mexican, Spanish,
Dominican.
One Chinese kid was Justin Wong. Everybody else surrounding the cap, that shit was mixed as fuck. And I'm over there, I'm like, well, damn, like these motherfuckers is really OD. And like, this is not what I expected. I thought I was going to Chinatown and it was gonna be straight Chinese people everywhere. No.
But hold on, Chris. But once you dug deep into it, right? And then you started seeing the other side of the world. It's like, oh, there's the Asian folks. There's the guys right there, right? Where you see, like, the Daigos, obviously, Magos, the bosses, and stuff like that. So
Street Fighter. Yes.
Street Fighter. And that's something
no.
Yo. Now, and that's what I noticed. Like playing Halo 2, like it wasn't as diverse, dude. Like I've me playing that game like competitively for like 4 years. My whole team was just black. You know what I mean? So like I don't know if you know about the racial ignorance that was happening in that game, but it was muted the whole community.
Oh, I know.
It was ridiculous. Like so we need to report on that. But during that time, dude, it's like you just getting hit with the N-word, like it's just like regular, I'm just trying to get my BR pap, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to capture the flag, and I'm everything but my name, And so, but with the fighting game community, what was dope, like you said, it was people that looked like me that were super good, you know what I'm saying? And people that look like you know what I'm saying? And that like the community was and women, dog. Like I said, like I'm embarrassed, hooked by guilty, dog. Like it was free, and that taught me, I was like, man, anybody can win in this. Like anybody, if they know what they're doing, they can cook, you know what I mean? And so that's what was fire about it.
Yeah, man, it's about putting in the work. You know what I mean? Like we got cool champions, you know what I'm saying? Kodo Core, we got Kayane that been putting in work, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of folks that get involved, man. But yeah, that's actually just to point out what you said, Mojo. Literally, when I walk into CF and I seen folks that was just like me, that's what actually made me comfortable to come back. Yeah. So I came from the shooter world, you know what I mean? Now this is crazy. So obviously, coming up, just in the hood, you don't really see too much, especially when you're young and you're innocent. You don't really pay attention to racism per se, but like you get it when you kind of see it. But it was kind of rare in the hood, you know what I mean? My real experiences with dealing with some real racist shit it's either from cops, right, in my neighborhood, or when I'm playing online and shooters, you hear folks really racial profiling, calling me the hard ERs and stuff like that. Just by the way I talk and the way I carry myself, you know what I mean? And that energy that negative energy only came about because these motherfuckers were salty losing. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, I lose, I ain't gonna drop no race. But I'm like, yo, you suck. You ain't shit. Obviously, I probably said something OD. You know what I mean? Shit, but it was never a racial thing. You know what I mean? It was just competitive. At the end of the day, you know, I met some of my great friends online in the shooter community, hell, that I still talk to this day, that we meet up and we talk shit. You know what I mean? So there is a beautiful part about playing online, but there is the ugly part where it is that batch of racist motherfuckers. Like, it's out there.
Right.
To be honest, gaming, like playing online, was one of the first things really introduced, like what really introduced to me of the harsh reality of how the world could really be. You know what I mean?
Right.
In terms of how people came up. You know what I'm saying? Because to be honest, I don't blame those kids. I blame their parents. You know what I mean? Letting that shit fly. You know, so I can only imagine if they're like in their basement or in their room and they hearing the hard ERs from the other side. Or hopefully they're not saying, "Oh, that's my boy being a fucking racist."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I hope that's not the case. But yeah, that was like my first real like taste of what the real world is sometimes. You know what I'm saying? In terms of what people think about you. But back to what I was saying, Chinatown Fair, when I first went in there, I never felt that way at all. You know what I'm saying? Because let's say if I did go to Chinatown and I see people that wasn't like me all the way through, you know what I mean? And there was really to themselves, really wasn't really saying hi or just, you know, sharing tech and stuff like that. I probably would have never stuck with it. You know what I mean? To be honest, probably would have ran right back to my arcade and just stayed in my box in the hood, you know? But just seeing that diversity of so many unique people and characters just made me comfortable to come in there and just represent what I like doing.
That's dope though, and that definitely was like the transition. I was like, I'm just tired of that. I'm tired of that type of energy online. You know, of course, like, you know, people talking that and stuff like that. But I was like, with fighting games, like I'm in person. Like I can sit right next to you, so you're definitely not going to do that. You know, but at the same time, like you get a chance to like, you know, play with someone else, and then it also has, like I was telling E, that's the original multiplayer. You know what I mean? Like multiplayer is like where you actually gotta like link up with somebody in person and y'all sharing the same cabinet to play the same game. You know what I mean? And that's something that I like always like value, you know.
The elbows rubbing next to each other and everything like that.
Oh my God.
Taking the cabinet.
My biggest pet peeve, dog, in arcades. You know, I should have put this shit in the doc, but fuck it. This is an extended cut. Yo, when we had the small cabinet and I had to deal with somebody that was like a little more husky than me, that shit was not cool, B. I was like, damn, did I really spend 50 cents to just get my shit fucking rubbed off the machine, bro? Like, so this is my joystick arm, right? It's cool, but then I got this side like this. like, bro, like that shit was kind of wild, B. So, yo, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you, Chris. One reason I did want to get nice, so I won't play in a small cabinet no more, man. I didn't want to play in a small cabinet no more. Sometimes that shit was just too uncomfortable, bro. Man.
That's crazy. Like I was gonna tell E this.
Man, I didn't want to play in a small cabinet no more, bro. What you was gonna say, Mojo, before?
So one of the things that I thought was really dope about y'all, and this is some of the stuff I was sending to E about like you and Chris, was like, although they like really gangster at commentating the game, dude, like they play everything. And I was like, one of the things that was my favorite thing they ever played was Mike Tyson Punch Out.
Oh, the best thing that Matrix played. I was not touching. Yo, I'm gonna send you a link of that shit one of these days. You know what I'm talking about, bro. Oh yeah, he was watching. Oh yeah, Chris, he know the lines. He know the lines.
Pink on teal.
Pink on teal, boy. Oh man. You want to talk about clarify a little bit, Matrix? Clarify that shit. Pink on teal.
All right, so if you guys don't know, you know, Mike Tyson's Punch Out, the very one of the first boxing games for NES. When Little Mac gets knocked out, he turns pink when he goes down. And then the ring, depending on what stage you're on, I happen to be on a teal ring. Or wait, was that you, Yipes? Or was that me?
It was Yipes.
No, wait, that was you.
Wait. Hold on. It was, God bless his soul, Blue Jay was the first one that was catching the last.
Shout out to Blue Jay.
So
it was a teal ring.
Yeah.
So whenever somebody got socked and knocked out, Little Mac turns pink and he goes like that. So I was wild. I was like, yo, pink or teal? Pink or teal?
No, but I was catching that.
Saying, get up, but you got to get up. And it's like, da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na, da-da-da-da-da-da. And he's like struggling to get up. And that's when he turns back to normal. So
when every time you got knocked
out, depending on what ring, that's what it was. Oh, yeah, you was getting socked by Soda Popinski.
Hey, bro, listen, Blue Jay almost went the distance with Glass Joe, bro. Cut me some slack, bro. That shit was crazy. It was different.
Yes, dog. And I think, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I was gonna ask Eric. So, Eric, what's one of like the first games you played coming up, man? I'm always curious. I never really asked you, but I know you pretty throwback. Like, what was one of like the first games you was really like jumping in on?
So, like at the crib or like in the arcade?
Let's start with the crib, because that's when the base of it all comes from.
The first game I can really remember getting really down with at the crib was like Pole Position and Pitfall.
Throwbacks. Okay.
Yeah, on like the wooden Atari console.
The hardwood classic.
Yeah, so those games, yeah, because even Pac-Man at the crib was like, you could play that at the arcade, so who cares about kind of playing that at the crib? Pole Position was hot. Pitfall, I remember being super addictive. And then at the arcade, I'm trying to think way back when, a real popular game I remember, because I grew up with my sister as an athlete, and the sport that she was into was roller skating. So back in the 80s, the roller skating rink was also an arcade haven. Every roller skating rink had like the dope arcade. They had the fly arcade. They always did. And because she was doing it competitively, we traveled to different roller rinks around the United States, and you got to play different arcades at roller rinks. And so obviously Donkey Kong was huge. That's still one of my favorite games ever as an arcade console. But that track and field, I remember when that arcade game came out with the white ball that you had to like roll it. That was just something that was just like new technology. So yeah, those are like the earliest games that, because there wasn't even fighting games around when I was really getting into the arcades. They had that karate game that was awful. You had like 3 moves and you fought on a tree log.
Throwback, boy. What's that? That's not Karate Champ, right? Is that Karate?
Yeah, Karate Champ. Well, no, karate. Yeah, maybe it would have been Karate Champ. And so yeah, Excite-Bike was another dope game too. Excite-Bike, was super fire, dog, because it had like unlimited levels. You could just never beat that game. They made it like unbeatable. So yeah, those games were hot. And then Afterburner in the arcade, when Top Gun the movie came out, that was like the biggest. Yeah, that was like the biggest arcade shit you could like fit into, and you had just fresh off seeing Tom Cruise in Top Gun. So you were like, yo, they want $1 to play this game? All right, it better be fire. And like, it was mad interactive. So Afterburner always like took a lot of my money as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, Eric, you might have fucked up now, because now next time you come to NY, you go sit in the hot seat and play some of these old school games with the Chris Matrix Echo. So be ready. You might get put on the spot. I ain't gonna tell you which game it's gonna be.
That's cool.
But
you played this before?
When you fail, you gonna get roasted. Did y'all see when my man Yipes was playing freaking the Jump King? Yo, he was like, yo, Chris, you wanna try? I said, no. No.
That's one thing. I'm not gonna lie, man. New York, just in general, just the arcade culture really got me ready for the real world, because honestly, I got some thick skin coming out of that arcade. I'm gonna be very honest. So before
you have to
coming up from the hood, right? I didn't take disrespect lightly, because obviously, if I'm not comfortable with you and I don't know you, you talking all this shit, I'm gonna feel a certain way. You know what I'm saying? So obviously, being a CF, especially when I'm going against the opposition, the syndicate, you know what I'm saying? Matrix, this shit. For people that don't know, it was a crew battle. That's literally what we was doing in CF. It was a crew battle. I had to form my own crew, basically, which was Dead Cell. And then obviously we had which is based off of Metal Gear Solid. It was corny. It was corny now that I'm thinking about it, but at the time it was fun. But going up against the Syndicate, which was of course you know, the conglomerate of what was that? That's you, Matrix, Desmond, Mega Man, Steve, Mike Infinite, the Lawman. Who we got? We got Fernando,
Huggy
Bear. You know what I'm saying? And these are the stick-up kids from Chinatown Fair, who was pretty much keeping us off the machine. So like, but yeah, those heckles from the Syndicate pretty much got me ready for with life. In terms of just harsh talks and just really like just taking it to you. Because what's crazy was I started going like to like offline events elsewhere. You know what I mean? So like I would go to Philly and Philly's talking shit. You know what I'm saying? I will go to like obviously Ohio. You got the Midwest talking shit. You know what I mean? But it was cool for me because I'm used to it. Like I'm like, oh, I'm from New York. This ain't shit. Like this is nothing. Like y'all talking right now. This is actually nothing. Obviously, like the real obnoxious shit. Like if they in your ear talking. And they really like bumping into you talking shit, then it's different. You know what I mean? But if it's just some like they stationary right behind us in the arcades or on the Dreamcast talking shit, it really don't bother us. You know what I mean? So that's one thing that I give credit to Chinatown Fair is the fact that it really got me ready for you know, the harsh realities of shit talk.
Yeah. You want to talk about like playing under pressure? Like, yo, we are ruthless with each other. But we in the crib, we playing games, we talking shit. It's crazy. It's real crazy. I'm over there focused, trying to beat Mike Tyson, and these dudes in the back, God rest his soul, we at Nelson Reyes. Shout out to Remix, you know what I mean? You got Yipes, Remix, I think Jamar, Bert, and somebody else is there. I'm sitting there, I'm focused. I'm trying to beat Tyson. And you know when you get to that point in the game where you like borderline frustrated, ready to quit, but you want to beat them. So I'm at that point, I'm getting knocked out, and these dudes in the back, and they're not even quiet about the shit. They betting on which punch I'm gonna get knocked out on. So now
I came up. I'm not gonna lie, I came up.
I'm dodging punches, so they're like 7 punch, right? So now unconsciously, I'm counting the punches. I'm like, damn, 7 punch. Am I gonna get knocked out here? I come back into the punch, and all you hear is 4-5 dudes. Oh,
It was wild. Like,
and I'm like, I gotta eat all of that shit. I'm like,
nah, you know what's crazy? You know, after a while, you hit the breaking point. Makes you stay talking about, yo, y'all want to try? Be like, no. We know what the fuck is going on. He said, yo, y'all want to try? He wanted.
That's how good you. Yeah. The misery won't get me down.
Fuck out of here, man. You kidding me?
Oh God,
man. But yeah,
it's
you know.
crazy.
So Mojo, I want to ask you this, man. You being a fan of, you know, just the fighting game community and all that, where you see it now compared to where it was then, like, do you feel like we're at a good place now? Do you feel like there should be more done? And mind you, I'm obviously asking you this as a person that, you know, plays fighting game but watches from the spectator's point of view. Like, do you feel like there's more room to grow, you know, and stuff like that?
I think the thing that I would like to see is, honestly, of course, more games. I mean, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I definitely want to see another Marvel. Please, like, make another one, because people really want that. And I think the community is getting bigger, and I like that the world is getting smaller. So you're seeing a lot of like players from all over the world, like kind of like mingling with each other. So I think that's really gangster. I mean, I feel that, you know, COVID is kind of putting a lot of like dampers on things, like, so where people can't, like, you know, they don't feel comfortable going into a room, or now they are, you know, things like that. But I mean, I feel like the community is in a great space, and I just think just more content creators, man. Like a lot of the players that we all love and we want to you know, we want to see, like, outside of the tournament and stuff like that. Like, I want to see those guys like stream. I want to see them, you know, stuff like that's why I think Smug does really well, and Punk and YIpes and Chris and stuff like that. Like, I love seeing that because, you know, it's more to the game. It's the players. You know what I'm saying? And like what they about. So that is like literally my favorite part. That's my favorite part.
Yep, it is really, you know, content is key, man. You know, just it's good that you pointed out guys like Smug, because when Smug was coming up, Credit to Sanford Kelly. Sanford Kelly was the first guy really telling the world about Smug, and people really didn't know who the hell he was. But the thing about Smug is this guy was humble as hell. He didn't say a goddamn word to nobody. And then once he got comfortable, that's when you really started seeing his personality shine. You know what I mean? So him being a content creator, and people can actually like see eye to eye with him and really relate, you know, beyond the buttons, it was pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with like Punk, same thing with like Justin Wong, you know, and everybody got these different personalities that people could relate to. You know what I'm saying? Like me, and it's crazy because when the content that I bring, nowadays, obviously, you know, I pretty much got a foul mouth, not all the way through, but when I'm hype, I be saying some wild shit, you know what I'm saying? But people like that energy, you know what I'm saying? And then the only reason I'm bringing that up is because a lot of kids and parents, they start watching my shit, you know what I'm saying? So like, so for example, you know, now that with everything with COVID going on, you know, I was at Frosty Faustings, right? And what's interesting is it's like, I always think twice about going to offline events, right? So like when I was on my way to Chicago, I'm like, shit, man, you know, COVID is serious, whatever the case is, but you know, I love my passion so much. I'm like, you know what? I'm vaccinated. Let me see what's going on. And I read the rules, right? There was like, yo, everybody that got to be in the that's going in the building for this event or just being in the building overall has to take a COVID test. You know what I'm saying? So literally when I get there was a big ass line. You know, everybody getting fast, you know, same day test and PCRs, and Lord behold, everybody was negative. You know what I'm saying? So that what made me even more comfortable being in there, you know, with no issues. And obviously everybody was masked up and stuff like that. But while I'm there, you know, that's when I meet these parents and these kids, and you know, they telling me, yo, man, we love your content. I'm like, damn, you letting your kids watch my shit, like. And mind you, it's nothing crazy. I'm not doing nothing wild that's gonna deter them, you know, from like fucking up at school or like really have some bad mannerisms. It's nothing like that. But you know, me looking at myself and the person that I am, you know what I mean, that my homies know, you know what I'm saying? It really makes me think twice, like, man, is this actually cool for kids? You know, so I take it in consideration when I go and commentate big events. I don't say nothing crazy because I want the kids to engage with me. You know what I'm saying? I want parents to be excited to be like, hey man, Yipes is on TV. Let's go watch Yipes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm about that type of life now because, you know, I never had that as a kid. You know, as a kid, I'm coming up and I'm watching basketball players. That's who I was relating to because I knew they came from the hood. And, you know, they went through their trials and tribulations to get what they at. You know what I mean? So, like, when I see kids that's, like, really into gaming, like, I literally talk to parents nowadays. They're like, yo, man, I'm actually comfortable that my kids are playing video games because you're involved and they look up to you. So I'm like, shit. When I hear stuff like that, I'm like, man, I really got to step it up in terms of just being more presentable. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's a big thing, man, when you can influence the youth, you know? Yeah. So, like, and that's what's so important, and just a lifeblood of the fighting game community is the new cats, the new bloods. Like, every time I look, you know, I'm 34 and blessed. I turned 35 in March, you know? So, like, me looking in these events, and I'm like dusty as hell, and I got like 14, 15-year-olds coming up to me, man, you know, thanks for showcasing, you know, your energy and stuff like that. We appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? Like, because of you, I play Nova. Because of you, I play Spencer. Mm-hmm. Because of you, I play Dante. And I'm like, damn, you guys are really paying attention. You know what I'm saying? They know more about me sometimes than what I know myself. You know what I'm saying? In terms of what I'm putting out there to the world. So I'm like, man, that really woke me up and gave me this sense of urgency to really take this culture to a level where everybody can be comfortable and come on in and just enjoy the ride. For sure.
And that's what's tight, man. I'm gonna like get out to E too because, like for example, my son is 16, right? And the one thing he wanted to do is he wanted to do gaming and Twitch and YouTube and stuff like that. And so because he wanted to do that, and as his father, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm an entrepreneur, artist, and things like that. I wanted to encourage him to do that. Like, I'm encouraging him to be like, all right, man, if you're gonna have a $1,600 computer, bro, you need to do something with that. Like, you gotta put that energy, that $1,600 energy back into that computer. And if you're gonna do that, then, you know, I mean, you should be streaming every day. You should be trying to figure out like how to make your own content and stuff. And that's when I was like, yo, you gotta start talking to E. You know what I mean? E does this. E makes content, you know? And because he makes all his content and he knows how to edit his own videos and things, I'm like, man, like, I'm having my son talk to Eric. You know what I mean? And so even though he's 16, he got all this other stuff, high school, baseball. I'm like, all right, then you can start organizing your day so that you can stream, you can do those different things, you know? And so like that's something I appreciate from you guys, is that you guys are showing the younger generation how to do it, and that's something I appreciate from you guys for sure.
I appreciate that. And credit to you, man. So most of the folks from by the hundreds that I said earlier that spoke to me at Frosty Faustings was old folks that came from the arcade scene, you know what I mean? That has kids that's in the FGC. And the first thing that they did mention, man, I watched This Ain't a Game. My kids watched it. They actually got more excited to play fighting games and just video games as a whole, just seeing that, you know what I mean? Because obviously people go in blind in terms of like what's going on because it's just fun. But once you give them the nooks and crannies of how it came about and how authentic it is, you know what I mean? It made kids realize and adults realize like, oh shit, this really came from nothing. This really came from a struggle. You know what I'm saying? And kids and just folks alike, they really appreciate that shit. So I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. That the story that you put out there for them to understand it hit home. You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of people, I'm telling you, not even to gas you up. I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass. Literally, people was coming up to me telling me, "Yo, man, that shit was fire." Like their beginning sentences would be like, "Yo, man, that This Ain't a Game, fire." And then mind you, the back of my mind, I'm like, damn, a lot of people did watch this because obviously we was in the mix of clearing a couple of things from the footage, but we kind of like delayed in terms of like releasing it. So the momentum, it was there, but we really didn't push it as we should have. You know what I'm saying? But it hit home with a lot of people, man. It hit home with a lot of people, and obviously we still gonna put it out there that it's live. You know what I'm saying? So like credit to you, credit to you, Mojo, really putting it together, man, and making it happen.
Appreciate that, fellas. Yeah, man, that's the feedback I'm looking for, man. That's the best kind of feedback you can get, is that when the community that you created something for has an authentic reaction to it, and it's multiple kind of generations. That's another reason I think adding Rick to the story was just a stroke of accidental genius, right? Like I remember when we were trying to put this together, I think we were trying to include a few more of some of the people in your circle and circles that were close to your circle. And, COVID, travel, timing, for whatever reason, we couldn't make it happen. And so I'm like, yo, what am I going to do now? Like, how am I going to weave this in a way that still works? And I had, been to Arcade Odyssey a bunch of times because it's down in my neck of the woods. But I never really spoke to Rick or learned his backstory, or I didn't know he had like a Smithsonian museum full of arcade paraphernalia. Bro, he was telling me the Smithsonian is contacting him for archival stuff, for materials. Wow. They want to buy his stuff. They want to put it in the museum. He's holding it because his childhood long-term vision is he wants to run the museum, and he wants the museum to spill out into his arcade. That's his vision. And so he just keeps collecting the stuff, and he's a maintenance guy too. He's an engineer. So he's the one repairing all these games, changing out the motherboards, fixing the cabinets, doing all the repairs. He's not doing it all by himself anymore. He's got like 2 guys that he works with. But that's where he comes from. And so, if I'm going to talk about a culture that, that made it, that had its coming of age in arcade, how am I not going to bring up the arcade itself, that special place that the arcade is? And there's a reason that place was special for all of you, and not even just you guys, for people that weren't even competitive. The arcade's been special for everybody, I think. And it's not an accident, bro. That's not an accident. So
No, it's not. So what made it, not to cut you off, I'm so sorry. What made that whole flick stick together, like obviously there was like old footage of like us in Chinatown Fair. For people that don't know, we actually try to get footage in Chinatown Fair.
Yeah, they wouldn't let us, bro.
They wouldn't let us. So that's why you seen like, I was outside. For those that watch it, I was outside and, talking about it and stuff like that. They didn't let us go in there, which is crazy because we did so many things in there. So, new management, they don't know about that type of history. You know what I mean? That's why it's important to do footage like this. So credit to Rick and Arcade Odyssey for putting that, for being involved, because literally his arcade and his vision and what he's talking about, where it started and where it began and stuff like that, it really made that whole thing stick, man. Mm-hmm. I feel like if he wasn't involved, not to say that it would be bad, you know what I mean? It'll still be good, but like that was like the sauce that was really what made everything just mesh well, man. Like that was perfect. That was perfect. Big shout outs to Rick, man. Arcade Odyssey, I see you. Show.
Man, shout out to the BMT crew, BTM.
Oh, BTM. We definitely getting into that.
Yeah, Jay Av too, bro. Thank you for him putting up with all the headache that went involved in the music stuff. But we could have had there was a window to bail on that and just put some other types of music and stuff of that nature. And I was like, nah, I think this needs to stick. And is it going to be a son of a bitch to maybe just be patient with it and just whatever, see it all through? You're familiar with all the back and forth. So I just felt it was worth it, man. And, I was given an opportunity to just bail from that and make it easy on everyone. But, it's not about me. It's not about making it easy for me. And if it's easy for me, I already got to question it, because things that come easy come with a price. And usually, that price is something you don't really feel like paying. So I'd rather do it the hard way, the right way. And then the payoff at the end is a lot more sweeter. And it's just more authentic. And it was just cool. It was a challenge for me too. I like new challenges. And, this was obviously, that section was a challenge. So shout out to Jay, bro. And you guys too, just the talent, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm a hip hop head. Ask Mojo. He come to my house to figure out what records to get and stuff like that. I'm a big vinyl collector as well too. And I listened to your guys' music and I was like, yo, this is going to work, bro. This is going to be so fly. So yeah, just shout out to the whole team, bro, because it ain't one person. You know what I'm saying? It ain't one person.
No, not at all, man. Look, just big shout outs to BTM. That's before the money, man. These guys, well, let me not even say these guys first. So J Av, just to speak on it, there was a guy with a big old melon belly in there. You know what I'm saying? Look at Dominican as ever, but that's one of my guys, and I'm only ranking on it. I mean, you guys know Mojo.
We saw you.
We were shitting on each other like we was enemies, but we really like one of the best of friends. You know what I mean? But
that was so funny, those freestyle battles between the two of you.
And it's crazy. I wasn't egging it on. He kept fucking with me, man. I was chilling. You know what I'm saying? But I can't be a punk when I'm with my boy J Av, so it is what it is. But for people that don't know, J Av sticks well in this video because when it comes to my vision of just really having fun with games, he was there. I mean, Chris will tell you, before I got serious on the Marvel 2 things, we was spitting balls, and we had literally a computer with a microphone stand standing right next to it. You know what I'm saying? And J Av would literally be on that shit every single time, chopping up samples, making beats while me and Matrix are playing Marvel 2. And it's crazy because J-Av will be on the machine, right, on the computer, and he'll look at what we're doing, and he'll draw inspiration of what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? On the colorful side with just everything going on, explosive with like superheroes and stuff like that, and literally use that as inspiration to make beats. So it's crazy. So like when there was times when I wasn't playing Marvel, I'd just be in there making beats with them and just spitting balls. So like moving forward, now, we in professional studios, making music, you know what I'm saying, with a team, you know what I'm saying, which is crazy, that how all of that shit just stuck together. And there was a point in time where me and J-Av didn't really see each other for like years because, he's doing his thing, I'm doing my thing with the fighting game community. And mind you, he knew I was into the fighting game community, but he had no idea of the level that I was really into that shit. Like I came back, and we got connected. He didn't know I was commentating. He didn't know I won championships. He didn't know none of that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So like, just coming together and all of that, just meshing well, it's just a beautiful thing. Because at the end of the day, fighting games is an art, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? And my job right now is, okay, I showcase it to the world as much as I can. Now it's more so, how can I connect everything else together from art, through art, through music, you know what I'm saying? Through acting. You know what I mean? Just through content creation. That's where I'm at right now. I'm in that crossroads where I'm like really trying to figure out how to bring all of that together in one art form. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, for sure. So big ups to J-Av. Big ups to just the whole BTM team. Of course, Grizzy. You know what I mean? Ski, Jesus, Nick Early, of course. You know what I mean? My man Stats, Prime, everybody, man, that was just involved with that. But it was a beautiful thing for sure. Ruby, of course, my guy. Y'all ready?
Yo, so Mojo, I wanted to ask you, right? So you hear me, right? You hear me? 1, 2. Okay.
Mojo, you good?
I think he froze, dog.
Oh, you froze? Uh-oh.
I thought he was sad. I thought like he wanted
to. Yeah.
Like, damn.
Oh, he is frozen. Hold on, let him come back.
That man got the how come
He got hit with a Sub-Zero.
Oh,
God damn, Mojo, you all right, kid?
oh, he's stuck. Oh,
They
my
grab
man
a,
is
they grab a Snicker.
stuck. Oh, my man is in a Squid Game right now playing red light, green light.
Yo, he look like he seen an email he didn't want to see, dog.
Uh-oh.
what's
There
up?
he is.
Good?
Oh.
There he is.
Yo,
Oh,
Mojo, no
welcome
bullshit.
back.
You was looking sad as hell. I thought you heard something you ain't want to hear.
Bro,
Damn, oh, you good?
No, I'm good. I keep freezing up, dude. I'm like, I keep looking at the bars on the Wi-Fi. Like, what is happening right now?
So, all right. So, I wanted to ask you, right? Because, we have a friend. We have a friend named Fuji. Yeah, we knew him for years, right?
Yeah.
And the thing with Fuji is like, he's real like particular on like the little things in fighting games and stuff like that, right? So I wanted to ask you, coming from an artist standpoint, like how much does like the artwork of a game like stand out to you, or like when you play in a new game, like how much does that maybe bother you or draw you more into a game? You know what I mean? So talk about that a little bit.
Bro, so I'm gonna keep it a buck, man.
Yeah, please do.
I'm gonna keep it straight. I'm gonna keep it a stack. So I went to college specifically for, it's called sequential art, and that's a cute way of saying comic books, right?
Okay.
So going to a school like SCAD, you do a lot of like drawing and storytelling, storyboards and character designs, all that kind of stuff. So for me, like I'm drawn to like how something looks before I even play it. Like it gotta look fire before I actually like play it. The trailer's gotta be hard, all of that. So to be honest, like right now, I think the games that look the dopest right now is like Guilty Gear looks hard.
Yes.
I think the new DNF looks fire.
Okay.
The Project L looks super fire. I think that, KOF is getting there, right? Like the new KOF is getting there and stuff like that. Street Fighter 5 definitely got more. Like it's just like it needs more attention to the art. To be honest, I think, and it sucks that this game like died like it did, but like MVCI, honestly, like the gameplay on MVCI was so fire, but the art was just not up to par, dude. Like it is pieces of it that, or large pieces of the game that just didn't hit hard, man. Like when you got characters' faces not on point, man, you got, supers not looking dope, or you got like, glitches in the game, or characters not breathing, or, like you start having these like attention to detail type of aspects that are falling off. When I start seeing that as an artist, man, like it makes me feel like they're definitely cutting corners. You know what I mean? Like as an artist. So like as a person like me that does like murals and like paintings and things like that. Like I know when I got the budget that I'm asking for, you're gonna get exactly what you want. Like if you trying to like lower that budget, then I might not actually do it because I want it to be the best it could possibly be. And so I think that, if you want to make a fighting game, like it gotta look fire. Like any game gotta just look good. But if it's a fighting game, the animation gotta be hard. The character designs gotta be hard. The supers gotta be dope. And like for example, I noticed this, but like Dante doesn't breathe. You know what I mean? Like in MVCI or MVC3, like you never see him like you don't see him like breathe. He's just standing there. Like it's kind of like it's things like that to me that I noticed that I'm like, man, like they missed that. You know what I mean? So that's just how I feel about art.
That's the minute details, right?
Yeah, yo, son, Cable be breathing, bro. Marvel 2, my man Cable be like,
bro.
Yeah.
like when you see Magneto doing this,
Magnet,
like he just chilling. You see Storm floating and things like that. But
you like
exactly.
You even got Sentinel. You got even Sentinel twitching, bro. Like he
Sentinel, he doing this. His hands going like
my man
that.
Cap be like,
right. Captain Commando, he doing all these little gang signs, Like when I see that, I'm like, damn, that's hard. Like Guilty Gear has that. Guilty Gear got the idle animations when they crouching, they moving. But like, you got like Dante, who's a character I really like, design wise, gameplay wise, as a character I play in Marvel 3 and Infinite and stuff, just to see him have like this weird face, and then also for him to not be breathing, it's like he's not alive. You know what I mean? So it's these moments I think like need to be taken very seriously from a developer. Like make us want to spend our money on the game.
Yeah, see, that's why I was so curious about that, because I'm like, from like an artist standpoint, I know you're looking at more things than the average person might not be. Because my friend Fuji, like, he's like big on the sound effects of games, and like one of the things he said when he first played MK2 in an arcade, you know what I mean, it was lit. He said that when he played the console version, he said he heard like one of the sound effects, and he said, "Yo, what the fuck is this?"
Damn.
Or even something so small as like when the Genesis version of freaking Champion Edition came out, Street Fighter, he said, or no, Hyper Fighting maybe. He said he noticed when Guile jumped back, he didn't backflip. Right. I'm like, damn, you paid attention to that? That's right. Crazy. So I'm like, I know people like that's in your field of, like the littlest things might stand out to you. You know what I mean? In terms of like, like, damn, I would have did this way. I might have did this way. You know what I mean? So like, it's always good to hit at, you know what I mean?
And to be honest too, before I got into like murals and all the stuff I'm doing now, like I kind of my career was a little bit more into character design and storyboarding. So and this is to kind of give like a little bit of lenience to like a lot of the designers and character modelers and stuff like that in video games, that it's a lot of work. Like that's just facts. Like it's a lot of work. So before you even start modeling a character, you got to draw it first. Like you got to do the 3/4 view and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of people want to get into that industry, like doing character design and fighting game stuff. Like you got to be in the Rolodex of the people that get paid to do that all the time, that they can rely on, that, yo, we making Street Fighter 5 this year. This crew of people, or 6 or whatever, they're gonna have this team that only focuses on like the artwork of the characters or something like that, and maybe that same team work on the backgrounds and stuff, And I think too, another thing that's important is like the story, the background, making sure the background matches the story and stuff like that. And to be honest, like I think Marvel 2 and I think Street Fighter 3 were the best overall like game where like when you play this game, you know exactly what you're getting. I feel like Street Fighter 3, Third Strike, like even though people hated the game, like before it was what it is now and stuff like that, people did not like that game, just like they didn't like 4 and they didn't like 5. I think the way that Street Fighter Third Strike ended, like the animation gangster, you got like the gaming part of it with the parry is fire. But then the artwork, the story, the music, dude, like I still play this music.
Oh my God.
Bro, yeah. When I was telling E about like just like the Evo moment with Daigo Perry and Justin Wong Super, I was like, bro, like not only are you going to see that, but like see the game, bro. Like they got hip hop in this, bro. Like they got like all of these, this like so much, like everything that we love is in this game. You know what I'm saying? Like you beating people ass throwing fireballs, and now you bobbing your head to like, yo, I'm this dude, like, you know what I'm saying? Like you hitting supers and shit, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like you hear like gangster music, like you got gangster art, like you got new characters, like it's fire. Like that's why that game like hit so hard,
Mojo, let me just piggyback on what you're saying. So it's funny that you say that, right, about Third Strike. I was actually having this conversation with Knowledge, actually. Big shout out to Knowledge, big producer.
Shout out to Knowledge.
Yeah, we be talking in the chat, right? And there be just random moments I be in my chat and I just start rocking old OSTs. So like I started rocking Third Strike shit, right? And then I'm listening to it while I'm playing Guilty Gear, because like I be turning off the music of Guilty Gear and then I just play OSTs and I'm listening to it. I'm like, holy shit. And I had to stop playing Guilty Gear. I'm like, yo, bro, Third Strike was fucking godlike. Like I was really thinking about it. And then the thing about it, I'm not really talking about the gameplay wise, that's to each their own in terms of what they want in a fighting game. But in terms of what that game captured in terms of the arcade culture is literally in that game, bro. Like from, you know, the subways to get onto the urban areas, the music, like it was really catering to us in the hood, man. To be honest with you, like just the overall package, from the art, from the graffiti, it really made me feel like they captured the street culture. And, you know, and to be honest, when it came to Street Fighter, that shit came from the streets. No pun intended. Obviously, Street Fighter, whatever the case is. But it's just more so, you know, from the bodegas to the laundromat, you know, just the whole hip hop culture. Third Strike literally captured all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? And then obviously to touch up on what you said about Marvel too. Obviously everybody connected with that, seeing all your favorite characters from past games on a comic book style kind of game. You know what I'm saying? From Marvel, Street Fighter, that really bring that shit together as well. Even other characters, yeah, Mega Man. You had Roll, who nobody picked her. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just stuff like that, that the little things that really made those games pop out. So I do agree with you on Third Strike, man, 100%, and Marvel too.
And this is something, and I was telling E about this because, like, I'm always like thinking of new stuff and things I want to do, and one of those things is, and this, it has to do with both of you guys. So, handshake NDA, and the rest of the people that's watching this, like, I probably can't talk about it anymore. But basically, and I told Yipes about it already. But basically, another game to me that meant a lot to me was NBA Streets Volume 2.
Chris, you play that one?
I didn't play Volume 2. I played Volume 1.
Man. Yo,
it's almost game breaking time.
Cool. NBA Streets Volume 2 to me, dude, art-wise was hard. That's when they started bringing back all of the OGs, and you can make your own character, stuff like that. But again, it had the music, and they also had Nelly and the Lunatics as like the boss at the end of that. So that's the whole St. Louis thing. But the thing is like it had that hip hop music too, and they also had the commentators. Like they had I think it's I can't remember. I think it's Bobito. I can't remember who he is. It's one of the guys. One of the DJs. He's a famous DJ that was doing the commentary in the game. So like I want to do that in real life. Like, you know what I mean? Like I want something like that. I want gangster music, like dope hip hop, and I like having like something like Yipes and Chris like doing you know what I mean, the commentary on an actual 3v3 basketball like tournament. You know what I mean? So like that's where I'm at right now. But that's another conversation. But basically, those two games for me are the pinnacle of what great design looks like, great music, and just overall story in general. Like those two games for sure, they changed my life for sure.
Yo, you on ice?
Yeah. We
hear you now this time, though.
This is a meme. This is the meme of a face of a guy that really likes NBA Streets.
You look straight like this. You like
that game kind of good. He got that game fire look. yeah. There you go. We back.
Why are you getting froze?
You back, baby. You back.
I need that as an emote, B. I need that as an emote.
Yeah, go ahead and throw that thing on there.
Oh man. Yeah. But you know, what you think, Chris? I think that was a solid time for the podcast. Okay. You know what? So any last words, Mojo, Eric? Any last words, man? You just want to put out there before we sign off?
Nah, man. I just really want to thank you guys for trusting us to come up there, because I know there's a level of trust that's involved when someone comes into your house with a camera. You know, as somebody who does this for a living, it's you know, it's part of my daily routine or whatever, my career path. But even me, as someone who works in that industry, I would be uncomfortable with a camera crew in my house, and I work in this business. So I never underestimate, you know, the level of trust that's involved in letting somebody into your world with a camera. Even though everybody films everything nowadays, when it's a project of this scope, just big ups to you guys for trusting us and just accepting us in there, because I think a lot of what we captured is a result of you accepting us in the space, and that came through the camera, you know. And so just big ups to everybody involved, man. I really hope we could flip it and do another one of these. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. I actually kind of have an idea of what should be the next thing. So we should talk.
Yeah, we could talk that offline all day, bro. Yeah, I wanted to hit you guys up too about like the future of gaming and crypto and blockchain gaming and metaverse and what happens if you put on a VR and you walk in as Magneto to a club and it's like, yo, we're gonna fight here in this club now, and it goes straight into, you know what I'm saying, like a battle.
Can you imagine some shit like that? Yo, meet me at the club,
the
guys.
metaverse.
Yeah, you spilled the drink on me, now we gotta fight like an 80s movie, you know what I'm saying?
Damn, man, the world is just so phony that we gotta go to something even more phony, man. God damn, bro. That's fucking crazy. When I heard about that metaverse shit, I was like, man, that's definitely what be the meetup. Hey, man, meet me at the club. I put my goggles on and I see fucking, hey, what's going on? He's like across the world. I said, what's going on? You like my fit? You like my fit?
You like my shoes? My 3D hat?
I could be a clown with that shit, man. I could invest some time in that store just to be funny style. But
oh man.
Yeah, man. But yo, E, where they can follow you at, man? Just
the best way to follow me is just on Instagram, man, and it's Creative Cook 305. And that's where all my work's gonna go. That's where, you know, I'm not too heavy on the social media. I'm there when I'm there. But yeah, that's where you can find me. Twitter, you can find me too under the same thing. So yeah, and hopefully Mojo and I'll be hooking up with some more bigger stuff this year, man. That's the plan. 2022 is new direction and new focus and new gems, you know?
Okay. All right, Mojo, floor is yours, brother.
All right, man. Look, first of all, man, I really appreciate you guys for giving us the reins to come in there and tell your story, man. Like, that's something that we definitely value, you know what I mean? Like, and we really appreciate you guys for letting us come in there and do that. I'm happy that everybody, you know, really enjoyed that story and stuff, and so we definitely want to do more of that. And we definitely got things in the pocketbook, like trying to get going for that. As far as like following me, all of my artwork, you'll definitely see it on my Instagram. Just got the mojo. You could definitely follow me on Twitter as well. I'm trying to step my Twitter up, man, because I see I got to get in there for that for that with them NFTs. So and that's the and it's 2 O's at the end of that J. Definitely, I just started my Healing with Hues, my nonprofit organization that's specifically focusing on the community and healing the community with art and stuff like that. So it's definitely something I'm going to be talking more and more about very shortly. But yeah, man, I'm just looking to change the game and really talk a lot about communities, man, and whatever community that is, and one of those communities is definitely the fighting game community. And I want to do that. So, you know, anything y'all need from me, I'm down to talk to whoever. And let's keep that
connect the dots. Yeah,
connect them dots.
And vice versa, brother. And vice versa. Whatever you need. But you know what? I think we're gonna sign off on that. Guys, look at the description below. Peep the description below. Hit the link for This Ain't a Game. For people that don't know what's going on, that is a mini doc just talking about the arcade culture, how everything started from then and where it led to now. Obviously, it's featuring me and my crew and all of my good homies in there. So, of course, hit that link in the description below so you can watch it live, okay? But with that being said, Chris, you good? Anything else?
I'm good.
All right, we signing off.
Coming out, man.
Y'all already know the vibes, man. No Frillz Podcast is signing out. Peace and love, y'all.
All right. Peace out.